You've had a lot of people, and you have been influenced by a lot of what you have seen, you know, a lot of what you've read and studied and all of that. Terry Gilliam gave you some advice before you made Reservoir Dogs. You remember what it was?
Yeah, I sure do. You see movies and they can be full of vision, and you know you want your movies to be like that. But you know you see these other movies that don't have any vision, but I'm sure the director tried. So what's the difference between this guy versus that guy? How was this guy able to get this on the screen, and how was this guy not able to get this on the screen? I'm sure if I talked to that guy, he'd tell all these, you know, I'm sure he wanted that. Who knows? And I was afraid of being that guy. I want to be that guy. And, well, Terry Gilliam definitely has a vision. No 2, 3, 4 ways about it. So we were at Sundance, and it was like a lunch going on at the picnic tables there, and everyone else FO'd. And it was just me and him talking, which was a thrill. And I go, look, you know, you have a very specific vision in your movies, and it's right there on the screen. How do you do that? How do you get that vision that's in your head? How do you get it on the screen? And he said, well, Quentin, you have to understand, as a director, you don't have to do that. Your job is to hire talented people who can do that. You hire a cinematographer who can get the kind of quality that you want. You don't have to be able to know how to take the lights and move them around to create an effect. You hire a talented costume designer who can give the colors that you need and the flamboyance or not that you want. You hire a production designer who can do that. Your job is explaining your vision. Your job is articulating to them what you want on the screen. And then all of a sudden, the whole mystical, shamanistic thing that I thought directing was just went boop. And I realized I could do that. That it wasn't this Merlin-like magic kit that I needed to know the right spell in order to conjure. I can describe what I want. I know what's in my head. That's the easiest part. I'm good at describing.
Is there a series of movies that you want to make? I mean, I've tried to look at sort of what you've done and say, where is he going?
I'm actually kind of getting excited by just that little sentence, or your little wrap-up that you just did there, was the fact that, what's he going to do next?
Yeah.
I think in particular, in the case of like finishing Inglourious Basterds, and in particular the case of finishing this, who knows what I'm going to do next, but it's actually kind of an exciting question. Because there is this, you know, Bastards, boom, that was that.
Yeah.
And now this is this. And it does seem like, okay, there's a box checked, not in some going down a box, but just it's okay, that's his Western statement. That's his statement on slavery. What's going to be his next genre? What's going to be his next statement? What's going to be the next story that intrigues him to spend 1.5 years of his life doing?
But you have no idea what it is.
Right now, I'm not really sure.
And how will you find it?
I have to say, I usually find it through other writing. I've been doing.
You're writing for something will lead you to thinking I want to go here.
Yeah, well, I really like doing film writing, and I haven't published any of it yet, but I really like doing film
writing. Or these are essays on film, not criticism.
Yeah, it's like, well, it's kind of criticism / essays, usually about dead directors, so I don't get in trouble, and have to be sheepish as somebody at a party because I wrote bad stuff about him. All right, but also it's kind of unfair to take a swipe at a colleague. If I'm a critic, I'm a critic, but if I'm not, I'm not. But I love that type of writing because I love just being this student of cinema all the time and dealing with it and constantly putting my aesthetics, what I consider good work versus bad work, constantly under a microscope and then being forced to describe it. But in this case in particular, it was that writing that led me to this story. Right. And one of the things that was great about it is because I'd been doing so much writing, I wasn't cold when it came time to write this piece. I was lubricated. I was in the zone. I was writing every day. So it was just, you just won't move over to here.
Yeah.
And that was really exciting.
I remember one night on a plane, I've told this story before. You remember this?
Yeah, I do remember.
I get on the plane, and I'm exhausted. I've been working and filming all day in Los Angeles. He's on the plane. It's the overnight red eye. And I get on the plane, as I always do, and probably have a glass of wine and put my head back and go to sleep. I do that. I look over to you and you're typing away. Then I wake up about 30 minutes before we're going to land, and I look over there and you're still doing this.
Yeah.
I said, that sucker's been up all night creating.
Yeah, but you know, one of the things, to me, the greatest thing about an airplane is I love all that time by yourself.
I do too, actually.
I just love being in there and no one's really talking to you, and then you know, I always have books to read and I always have stuff to write, you know, and I just, boom, that's like 5 hours of just straight work.
Does this creative power that you have, this creative energy, have an outlet anywhere other than film? Now, you'll argue criticism, and I'll take that, but what else? I mean, do you create music?
No, I don't create it.
Yeah,
no.
you don't create that. Yeah.
No, I appreciate it.
Yeah. And you make movies about it.
Yes, exactly. And I use it in my movies, and it is a huge part of my aesthetic.
It is. It really is.
No, it really is.
It's not only, it's a defining part of your.
I would agree, but I don't make it, and that's actually part. You know.
So what does that make you? A kind of aggregator?
Yeah, it's you know, I guess. Yeah. Well, it is modern art going on. There is a slightly, you know, for lack of a better word, a hip-hop aesthetic of taking something that already exists, taking what you like from what already exists, and putting it into your own work, and by the way you do it and the way you frame it, creating something that didn't exist before. Now, it's taken a while for that to be respected, all right? But that's always kind of where I've been coming from.
And how do you use it? What does it add to the film?
Well, I mean, personally, I just think...
it creates mood, it creates...
Well, I just
pacing.
think it's one of the most. I try not to use music just as a case of pacing. That's how everybody else does it. They put innocuous music just to kind of get the ticking clock going.
I should have been embarrassed to even suggest you do that.
You know, but I think the reason that my music works so good is I don't just blanket it in there. When it is in there, it's there for a real purpose. But I actually think the right use of movie image and connected with the right music is usually the most cinematic moments in the history of cinema, especially now that we've gotten to the point where we can actually cut to music. And you know, those are the cinematic moments. Those are the moments that I'm waiting for as the clock's ticking down as I'm watching the movie.
So is it joy for you putting the movie together in the editing room? Is that what you like most, rather than filming the scenes and making, you know, putting it in?
I know it's all great. I mean, look, admittedly, editing is far less hysterical. You know, you get up and go to the work.
It's probably more creative too, isn't it?
Well, it's not. No, it's not. It's not more creative than shooting. Shooting is
creative.
Shooting is crazy creative, especially the way I do it. All right, but
what's that? How do you do it? That makes it different.
Well, I do it. You know, it seems like, you know, I hate to be the oldest guy on the block kind of talk, but I feel, as time has gone on, I feel like the oldest guy on the block. All right, because it just seems like every time I do a movie 2 years later or something, the industry has moved even further away from how I do it, and everyone does it completely different, or the rules on sets and everything are just very, very different from the way I remember them. And it just keeps going like that all the time, even further and further away. And, you know, but one of the things that I do, just amongst a zillion of them, but one of the things that's a big deal for me, one, I don't use a monitor when I'm making a movie, which seems like everybody has some little video village. No.
There's no monitor there.
No monitor. I mean, there might be a little hand monitor so I can keep track of something I'm holding in my hand, you know. But it's something like this, so I'm watching the scene and just take a glance if I want to.
So it goes right to your mind's eye.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just trying to check the framing or something. But the whole deal, though, is that's not how you do it. What you do is I didn't conjure all this up, so I would be in another room watching television as my actors are out there doing their scene. All right, I take the camera, I frame the damn shot, and I sit right next to the camera. Either I'm operating the camera, which I didn't do that much on this movie, but I did much more on Bastard.
I thought you'd already made the point that what you discovered about being a great filmmaker is that you could hire these people to do all those things.
Yeah, well, no. Yeah.
So you could hire a great cinematographer and done. You don't have to cinematography.
And I do have a great cinematographer, but sometimes I just like to have the fun.
You hire yourself to write it, so you don't have to worry about the script.
Yeah. Well, sometimes I like the fun of actually operating the camera. Sometimes it's kind of fun. Yeah. All right.
Soderbergh used to do that too.
Yeah, oh no, he does it all the time. That's his thing. But I like actually, you know, more. It's like the camera's here, the actors are right here, and I'm right here. I'm right next to the camera, and I'm watching the scene. I can actually even talk to the actors during the scene. I'm saying I do that all the time, but maybe I come up with a line. I throw the line at them, say that. Or maybe I'm their inner voice. Maybe I'm their conscience. As they're talking about, you know, somebody says something, he looks at them, and I go, what does that mean? What the hell does that mean?
Yeah.
All right? Or he's lying. Don't let him get away with that. Or whatever. I'm not saying that I do that all the time, but if I feel like it, it just comes out and I do it. But also what's important to me, and this is something that has changed a lot as time has gone on, it's standard now on most movies and all television shows to, at the very least, have 2 cameras operating at all times. If not 3, if not 4, if not 5, if not 6. If not more. But at the very least 2. And in that scenario, it's like, okay, you have your main shot that you want. And then there's this other camera. And then you're sticking it somewhere, all right, where it's not seeing this one and it's not seeing any other equipment. But, you know, it's a sloppy angle, but it's just there to give you a little bit more footage in the editing room, and, you know, so you can just kind of get through your day a little bit easier. Obviously, but now you have to kind of split the lighting as opposed to just for your shot. I don't want that. I have 1 camera on the set, and the only shot we're shooting is the shot I'm framing. I frame the shot. And Bob Richardson lights the shot for that frame, and that's it. And I don't want sloppy-ass crap, all right, you know, in there that I can just cut to. If any composition you see in my movie was composed by me, and that's what we meant to do that minute of that day. Any
composition I see in a movie of yours was composed by you.
By you, yeah.
And to compose it means what?
Means to set the frame.
Okay, just to set the frame.
Yeah.
That means to compose it.
Yeah, place the camera.
How close it is, where, you know.
Exactly. Balance the frame with anything, make it right.
Yeah. Some might suggest, and this is a question, if you could have been Leonardo DiCaprio and have his acting career, would you prefer that than the directing career of Quentin Tarantino?
No way.
You know that people don't believe you.
Okay, well, look.
They believe you really want to be an actor.
I did a long time ago. Trust me, I've lost that bug. So much, I can't even tell you. I can't even tell you how much I lost that bug. I had the bug. I got bit. Yeah. It's gone. It's gone.
Now, you got bit after you made your first film, or before?
Well, no, I always wanted to be an actor when I was earlier on and everything, but I got kind of, in particular, during the time that I went out with Mira, it actually kind of fanned that flame a little bit. She was this terrific actress and comes from an acting family. I had aspirations in that regard, so it all, like I said, it fanned the flame a little bit. And I got a little carried away with it for a bit. But after I did Kill Bill, all that went away. Because if I've been offered a lot of things in the last 10 years, and I always turned them down.
But you do 2 cameos in this film.
Yeah, I do one because it was just easy to do. The other one I did it basically because we kept moving the scene further back, and we kept losing actors because it was a scene that we're going to get around to. If I put myself in there and I have to cut it down to nothing, I have no problems with that. All right. If I have Sam Worthington waiting around for 6 months, I'm going to feel bad if I cut his scene down to nothing. All right. I can cut me, no worries. But the thing about it, though, is movies are hard. And if I'm going to be on a set, I want it to be my set. I don't want to be making somebody's dumb movie as an actor. I don't want to have to learn the lines. I don't want to have to sit in the makeup chair. I don't want people faxing schedules to me. I don't care about your dumb movie. I care about my dumb movie. Yes.